All right, I'm going to try to do this in video form because, quite frankly, this story is long, complicated, and it spans about a month. And yeah, quite frankly, it's not good. It'd take me hours. It would take me hours to type out everything. So I'm going to try to do it in video form. So here we go. Just over a month ago, I decided that it was time to upgrade to a new phone. I had a 64 gig iPhone 11 Pro. Didn't have necessarily any problems with the phone. It was doing some weird, goofy things, glitches, but nothing that I couldn't fix. But the problem is that it was 64 gigs. It was eating up. I had so many things that were eating up a crap ton of memory on that thing, and 64 gigs was just not enough. And so I decided that it was time to upgrade. So, I was with with Simple Mobile, which is it's the Best Buy brand for Tracfone. So basically Tracfone. So yeah, this is going to be a diss rant on Tracfone because they suck. Anyways, bang back to the story. Decided I was going to upgrade the phone. Went on their website and checked out the phones, and I found one that I thought I liked. It was an iPhone 12 Pro with 128 gigs on it. And I was like, okay, cool. That should be enough. All right, cool. So I went on the website and I picked it out, did all the shit. And it's like, oh my God, do I really want to do this? And I decided, yeah. So I just pulled the trigger and decided to buy the phone. As soon as I pressed the button to complete the transaction, the website froze. I mean, completely froze. It completely shit the bed. And when I tried to go back, I could not find any of the shit that I'd just done. However, the charge for the phone had hit my bank. So I was like, what just happened? Did I get charged? Is there a phone coming? That was my primary concern. I just got charged, just under $1,000. I want to make sure that a phone is actually coming because the website just went, bleh. So I call customer service, as one would tend to do. Well, that evening was quite possibly the most abysmally bad customer service experience that I've ever had in my entire life. And that includes customer service experiences with companies that were actively trying to defraud me. So worse than somebody trying to defraud you. Yeah, that's how bad this was. The call, I kept getting dropped. I would be on hold and then the call would cut out. I would be talking with somebody and we'd be in the middle of a sentence and the call would cut out. And it was a major problem. And the few people I was able to talk to, none of them could confirm whether an order had or had not taken place. Nobody had any idea. Nobody could give me an answer. And calls kept continuing to keep dropping. And I was getting mad because I'm like, this is a phone company and their customer service phone lines are this bad? I'm like, that kind of gave me, pause. And so I was like, okay, something is wrong here. If there's an order, I need to cancel it. And like, well, we can't confirm there's an order. I'm like, well, if there is, could you put in nobody could help me with that. And nobody could reverse the charge on my card so that I could actually go out and get another phone. There was a charge for a phone. I didn't know whether it was coming or not. And it was a major thing. Talked to about 7 or 8 people over the course of almost 3 hours. And they ran out the clock. They just kept me on hold and kept pushing me around, dicking me around until quitting time. And I told the last person I talked to, he's like, no. It's like, I just want a simple fucking answer. I want to know what's going on. If you guys cannot do this, then I will be, by the end of this evening, I will be switching phone companies. I will go somewhere the hell else because this is absolutely the worst. But, they didn't listen. And so then the next morning, I was like, fuck these assholes. And I went and I switched to Metro by T-Mobile. So, there you go. So I'm new phone, everything, switched my phone number over and everything. We're smoothly. There's an actual physical store I can go to if I have a customer service issue. So there you go. So the whole thing starts to try to fix the problem, try to get the charge off of my card. Then what happens is, I finally get somebody at the company that can say, oh yeah, the order went through. Your phone's shipping right now. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? It's like, well, I don't want the phone. I don't want the phone. I've already switched companies because you people are terrible. All right, no problem. They couldn't cancel it because apparently it had already shipped. Okay, whatever. So they said, well, yeah, well, you're gonna have to refuse the delivery. And I'm like, that's problematic because even though they're supposed to, especially with high dollar items like phones, they're supposed to hand it to you. They don't. I mean, the phone, Tracfone, relied on UPS to just take the phone and physically hand it to somebody and not just throw it on the steps and walk away. But that's exactly what UPS did. So I did not have the opportunity to refuse the delivery. So then begins the nearly month-long saga of trying to return the phone. After all the bullshit that they put me through, I'm like, I'm not spending a single more penny of my money to send this thing to you. You guys sent this to me and I told you not to. Nobody could confirm that this phone actually existed, until it had already shipped. So no, I'm not with you guys anymore. I do not need the phone and I do not want it. Take it back. And they're like, well, you'll need to ship it. I'm like, I'm not spending a single penny. This was your all's fuck up. I would still be with you if your customer service was at all reasonably competent. So I went through multiple levels, went all the way up to corporate and supervisory level up at corporate, escalation after escalation. And finally got somebody, after, probably about 5 or 6 days, to finally, they said, okay, we'll send you a mailing label because this is, this was not a good customer experience for you, and so we will send you a mailing label. Mailing label never fucking showed up, so I called again, and they said, what mailing label? You can start to see the pattern here. You're gonna see a pattern because every single person I talked to, I must have talked to probably by this point, by now, today, probably close to 40 different people. I got like 4 different ticket numbers for this thing. They do a ticket number and then they say, well, we'll have to do a new ticket number because the last person didn't do this right. So we're going to do this right and we're going to get it in. We got all the information. Yay. Okay. The mailing label should be there in a few days. And of course, it never of course, it doesn't show up. I call and they say, what mailing label? Again, over and over and over again. So this drags on. This is, like I said, the phone shipped on March 20th. It is now April 26th. And I talked to somebody today and it was the same shit. It was the same shit over and over again that I've been dealing with the last month. So finally, I went up to somebody, it's like I lost it. I'll admit I lost my cool at the last guy, but I don't know how much of it he heard because his phone line kept cutting out. Again, a phone company with shitty lines at their customer service. I mean, yeah, I left you guys for a reason, and it was the correct decision. So I kept talking to this guy, and he said, okay, well, it was like, no, this time we got it. We're going to send you the mailing label. You should get it in a couple of days. I'm like, I'm very skeptical. So we'll see if that mailing label shows up. But then I decide to vent some of my frustration on Twitter, and I tagged Tracfone in it. So of course they respond because, if someone's bad-mouthing them and tagging them on Twitter, they want to see if they can fix the issue, right? That's kind of the idea, public relations, right? PR. So they respond back and they say, well, that is definitely not a good customer service experience, and we want to try to fix this for you. I'm like, all right. And I said, could you please, and they sent me a link to chat with them, to chat with somebody. And I made the mistake of tagging in and of deciding to go. I was like, all right, I'll chat with this person and tell them what's been going on. I don't know if there's a actual person on the other end of these chats, but they went the whole rigmarole. It's like, no, you need to ship it yourself, and you're responsible for the shipping costs and blah 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 and all this shit. And then they dropped this one. Okay, this will start to make some of the other shit make a little bit of sense. They said at one point she mentions the 30-day return policy. 30-day return policy from the time it arrives, that I have 30 days to send it back to them. I've been trying to return it to them for about a month. So I'm getting the distinct feeling that they've been dragging their feet. They've been fucking up, I believe, on purpose so that they can drag it out beyond the 30 days and keep my money. This is fraud. This is legitimate, outright fraud on the part of Tracfone, if this is what's actually happening. So, I might have to make some reports to the Consumer Protection Bureau. I got to find out who regulates the wireless industry in the state of California and give them a call and let them know what these fuckers are doing. And I've already disputed it with my card company, but I think I'm going to have to escalate this to sending it to the fraud department, because I do believe at this point that it's fraud. They wanted to keep my money. Probably because lots of people were leaving them, I'm guessing, because apparently I was having so much problems because their entire customer service system basically melted down when all the major carriers decided to shut down 3G. So now since Tracfone is it's a lower cost carrier, so their customer base are largely, largely poor people, poor and working poor. They are reasonable. They have very good, the rates are good, but but that means that a lot of people, they had some of the cheaper phones, and that, when 3G shut down, they had a shit ton of customers that now had useless brick phones. And so I think, their customer service thing just absolutely melted down. It was not prepared for that level of shitstorm. And so I would be willing to bet they lost a lot of people, that a lot of other people just got super pissed off like I did with the absolutely abysmal customer service that they were providing, and decided to go somewhere else. And so they probably lost, I'd be willing to bet they lost a lot of customers, and they're just trying to, keep as much money as they can through whatever methods that they can use. So, I'll keep y'all updated, but fuck Tracfone. Seriously, fuck Tracfone. If you have Tracfone, go somewhere the fuck else before they fuck you too, because they will. Guaranteed. They are a horrible, horrible company with the absolute worst customer service. that I have ever experienced anywhere. And, I used to get cable through Comcast. Seriously, if you start pining, just like, oh yeah, it would be nice if their customer service experience was more like Comcast. You're bad. Your shit's bad when Comcast is, a step up. So we'll see. I'll let y'all know how this works out. Fuck Tracfone.